you are listening to the Girl Talk podcast, and when we last left you, it was myself, Carol, Tricia, and Alicia. And after season 3 wrapped up, Alicia made some decisions in her professional career, and she is now at balancingmotherhood.com. You can also find her on our Facebook page. She's very active on the Girlfriends of the Girl Talk. We miss her so much. Yep. We love you, Lishy Lou.
Love you.
And we're so thankful that she was available to be a part of those first couple of seasons, but we're so excited about what God's doing through her and through her new ministry. And we have somebody new to introduce to you today. So would you make welcome to the microphones, Kelly Brandon. Welcome.
Hello.
We are so excited to have you, Kelly.
Love you, Kelly.
I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, and we're going to have a lot of great conversations. You're going to fall in love with Kelly and get to know her. So today, the first episode of this season, we decided since it's the start of a new year, we would start out talking about who are you becoming. So let's rewind the clock. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching all of these year in review things. You know, when they do that at the end of the year, they post all these pictures and they say the year in review, and you look back at all the things that happened during that year. And I had this thought in my head that as I looked back on the year, I did not become anything positive accidentally.
Mm-hmm. That never happens. That's true.
I didn't become a stronger believer by accident.
Right.
I didn't memorize more of the Bible by accident. I didn't spend more time in prayer by accident. I didn't run 400 miles by accident. It was because every day I doggone it, put on those stupid shoes and got on that stinking treadmill and did it.
Good for you.
But it was not by accident. And I think for so long in my life, y'all, I have been living life as if I was just going to accidentally trip into some kind of magical spirituality and I was going to be stronger than I'd ever been before. So what I wanted us to talk about today and kind of break down, and this may lead into, you know, a further discussion of focus and where we want to be for 2021. But I realized, and this was like one of those moments when you have like 5 minutes to yourself and you like have a minute to think about your life. I realized something about me. The year that was 2020, everybody's going to say, oh, good grief, 2020, we don't want to go back there, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. I know it was hard. But I realized something about myself is that I very often don't use things for their intended purpose. For instance, entertainment. Like, there's nothing wrong with you sitting down watching a TV show if you like that TV show.
Right.
Go watch that TV show. But for me, I found out in 2020, I did not use that TV show for entertainment. I used it for escape.
Truth.
Yeah.
I did not use Facebook to catch up on Aunt Gertie and how all her kids are doing. I used Facebook to compare myself to other parents who were homeschooling their kids and how I was doing, and I did not do well. You know, I mean, all these things in my life that were intended to be good things and things that, you know, God gives for us to enjoy had become escapes and things to distract me from what really was the intent of their purpose, you know? And so as I began to realize all these things, that's kind of where this started. Like, who am I becoming? And how am I going to make that different in 2021? Because with all its bumps and warts, 2020 had them. I mean, we can just all be honest and say, it was not what we expected. It was tough. It was hard. It was scary. It was uncertain. And still to this day, some of those uncertainties still are a part of life.
Absolutely.
But how are we going to be intentional about what we become in 2021? How are we going to be different?
You know, what you made me think about is that life is made up of choices, right?
Yeah.
And our choices are dictated by our thoughts. And when you're talking about being intentional, making a choice, it's dictated by how I'm thinking about it and my motives.
Yeah.
And, you know, you really hit the nail on the head for me, because I can get on Facebook and I can put up a Bible verse, right? But if my motive is, I want to see how many likes I get. Or, ooh, I want people to think I'm, you know, super spiritual. Yeah, I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
Or I can put up a Bible verse because I want to share God's love with somebody.
Right.
Same action, different motives, driven by my thoughts. Because I realize that so many of my thoughts are either people-pleasing or pleasure-seeking.
Yep.
And those are two
And
things.
see, that's exactly where this started, because I was having my quiet time, and the verse that I was focusing in on that day was Psalm 34:4 that said, I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all of my fears. And I was thinking about the word seek and the word sought, and I started asking myself, what are you seeking when you go to Facebook?
Yes.
Oh my word. My perspective totally changed in 30 seconds because I realized I wasn't seeking to go there and find out, hey, what did such and so have for dinner? Or
we're seeking total distraction from the stuff around us. If I am totally honest with you girls, which I should be,
yes,
I'm afraid of what I'm going to think about if I stop moving. I think Facebook is one of those things where you can go and you cannot think about anything because you're thinking about other people's lives, and you don't have to think about the stuff that's actually in your heart, the things that are actually on your mind, the things that are actually bothering you. Because if you actually stop and think, what do you do about that?
Will your head explode?
Facebook is the equivalent of sucking your thumb.
Yes.
You get
my
anxious,
goodness,
you get
that's
crazy.
so good.
Yeah, and then you get on it, and it's just like, I'm anxious. Suck your thumb.
Yes.
Scroll a little bit. Look at this. Look at this. And it really is. It's exactly what you're saying.
Because here's the thing: you can always find somebody who's doing better than you and somebody who's doing worse than you.
Yes. Yes.
So you're like, okay, I'm somewhere in the middle, so I'm not that bad.
I used to watch Wife Swap to make myself feel better. My life choices. I was like, well, for heavens, I'm not that big of a train wreck, but maybe I am. Remember that show?
Talk about binge watching television. Good gracious.
That's a crazy one.
I'm telling you, I mean, and then there's nothing wrong. Like, I don't want you to hear, we're not being legalistic about this and saying if you watch more than 2 episodes of your favorite show that but I just realized for me, it has become a problem. Mm-hmm. Like, it has become, and I think because we're not getting that much interaction with each other, we kind of give ourselves a pass on it, or at least I did, because I was like, oh, it's interaction. No, it's not. It's not interaction. It's not really the social interaction that we need. What I need is to invite somebody to come over and sit on my porch and let's look at each other in the eye and say, how you really doing? Not, are you doing better than me or worse than me? Because I need to feel better about myself today, Oh, yeah. It just became a problem for me. And so I just was spending some time with God and saying, how can I be in 2021 more than I was in 2020? How can I enjoy? Because I think that to me, just entertainment loses something when it becomes an escape. It's no longer what it's
a distraction. It doesn't do anything.
Right.
There's no benefit from it. It's just a push the pause button.
And we can just zone
yourself.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But what is the benefit of that?
Here's what I've been doing a little Bible study. It's wonderful, called Jesus Over Everything, and she talks about how
That's Lisa Whittle, right?
Yes,
yeah, okay,
it's so good.
Yes,
and she talks about how we are constantly doing things, over scheduling to avoid feeling, over apologizing, over analyzing, the deadly overs, she calls it, and we're doing that to avoid what's really going on, and we're complicating our lives because we're not putting Jesus first. So she said this really great thing talking about how when we fall into people pleasing, which is something I have fallen into my whole life long, she says the fight really shouldn't be to get people to love me. The fight should be to get people to love Jesus. Let it be that you can't deny, whether you like me or don't like me, you can't deny the presence of God in my life.
Yeah.
And if you have that mentality, the idea is it simplifies your life because you're not exhausting yourself trying to put up the right post or trying to distract yourself into some kind of feeling of peace. But instead, you are focusing on putting Jesus first, making decisions that put him first, and then everything else kind of trickles down into simplicity.
Isn't it funny that from our hurts, though, we look for things to tell us we're okay? Because, I mean, when you said that, you know what immediately came? Because I'm divorced.
Yeah.
I can remember a distinct period of time where I just wanted to somebody to tell me I was okay. Not I was going to be okay. I knew I was going to be okay, but because of the rejection and hurt I felt, I wanted people to say, you're a good person. There are good redeeming things about you, and that sent me way down the wrong avenue, for that. But just in thinking about it and hearing you say that, I think probably our painful experiences kind of make us want people to affirm us in some way so that we can feel better about.
But it's never real affirmation.
Yeah,
you know,
security.
You can get 14,000 people to say, "Oh, I like you" on Facebook, but until you can sit across from a girlfriend who can say, "Hey, you are okay.
Yeah.
You are beautiful, and this is why you are beautiful. This is the thing that I love most about you." It's not real.
Yeah, and that's what's so powerful, I think, about this podcast is a lot of people are not feeling like they're getting that right now. And we're kind of filling that gap for people of conversation and overhearing and connection, you know, like we were talking before. But you do need that time with people and locking eyes with each other. Y'all know if I won't look at you, there's something bad wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And Tricia, she clues on it quicker than anybody. She's like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" But that is my thing. You know, if I don't have to look at people, and you haven't had to look at people for almost a year.
2020's been great for that. That's right. You want to hide? This is a great time to do it.
It is a time of hiding.
With all of it. You can hide from your own feelings, like I've said. You can hide from the people. You can hide from truth of your own stuff you got going on.
And that is where that's where I've landed a lot of times. Y'all know me. I like to ask hard questions. I don't like to always answer hard questions, but I like to ask hard questions. But this was kind of where I landed with my own personal journey of God just saying, you know, who are you becoming in the middle of all this? Like, and goal setters and people in the professional world will tell you need to write down your goals for 2021. And I believe in that. And that's all good, well, and fine. But there is benefit to it. Yeah. But I think we very rarely have an intention towards who we want to become spiritually. And I think that's a mistake. Because we're not going to get there by accident.
No, we don't fall into it.
I hate to say this out loud, but I really wish I could go back and do 2020 all over again.
Yeah.
What would you do differently?
Because
that's curious.
I would be so much more intentional in how I was feeling my time, how I'm feeling my brain, what I'm focused on. I wouldn't just try to dampen the feelings. I wouldn't just try to escape. I would actually seek other people. I would seek relationship with God more. I feel like that time was so wasted for me.
Yeah.
But you can do it now.
Wasted.
You can do it now.
Yes.
You can do it now. And I'm telling myself that as I'm telling you that because I hear you say that and I connect with it and then I panic. Oh, I've missed my chance. No. We can do it now, right? Things are still in this weird kind of funkiness. And we still have the opportunity to do that. So I'm inspired by what you say and slightly panicked.
2021 is going to be different. It is going to be different. It is going to be more intentional. I am going
whether
to make
it is or isn't.
better choices.
There you go. That you just say that again.
So 2021 may not be different than 2020, but we can be different in 2021.
Our responses will be different.
Yeah, I felt like I was. You remember seeing like the really big prize fighter getting in the ring with the really scrawny guy, and he gets him in a corner and just boom, 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 right, left, right, left, right, left. That's what I felt like 2020 was for me. I felt like I got in a corner and I couldn't defend myself, so I was just trying to survive to the next thing.
Yeah,
like
I
just
most people felt that way.
If I can just get through today, you know, or the next 15 minutes, or the next 15 seconds. But you know, I don't. That's so interesting that you said that because you said if 2021 is not different, we can be different. So what do we need to set in place? Let's talk a little bit about this. What do we need to set in place to make sure that at the end of this year, when we come back and have these conversations around these microphones, we can say, can you remember when we had that conversation about who we're becoming?
And I think that's where we start, is that we have to have that accountability with each other.
Right.
We have to have other people who will say, hey, are you doing what you said you were going to do? Whatever it is. Are you spending your time, you know, dampening your feelings by checking out?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but accountability is such a tricky thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because there is, and I'm saying this for and I wish, and I think y'all know where I'm coming from on this. There is a fine line between letting people grieve and go through something, and then the timing of when you encourage them to move along happens in that accountability. Just a recent situation that I've been going through that I really, with some of my close friends, needed to go through and in their love for me wanted to make it better. I think we know what we need to do, but sometimes as women, we don't give each other space to say, this is hard. this is hurtful. I am hurting, and we just sit with that. Sometimes I think we get uncomfortable with the silence of that. I had somebody text me yesterday and say, somebody just called me and they lost a close family member. Suddenly, what do I say? And I said, you don't say anything. You just show up. Just show up and keep your mouth shut. Because in those moments, I think we need to give each other space to bleed. And then there comes a point in time, and that is totally Holy Spirit led. And I realize now, looking back, that they were concerned for me, and it was that kind of told, here's the 1, 2, 3 things that we need to do, because they wanted to make it better for us. But I still needed to talk about some of those things and get those feelings out and cry. And I am a ugly crier. Like, it is ugly when I cry. And I realize it doesn't, because I'm always the funny one, it makes people very uncomfortable when I get emotional. But that's very much a part of who I am.
Well, one of the best gifts we can ever give each other is to listen. God gave us 2 ears for a reason.
Louder for the ones in the back.
Right.
2 ears, 1 mouth.
2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as hard.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. We want to fix. We want to make somebody feel better by telling them how to fix it, or giving them those great, platitudes of, you're okay. What we really need to say is, like you said, show up, just be there, be present.
And that's hard.
Yeah. And
what are you going to say?
Well, I was just thinking about accountability, and I am trying to think about accountability differently. Like, if you are my accountability partners, the responsibility, in my mind, this is where I'm trying to get to, is not on you to change me. The accountability is on me to tell you about where I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good,
So
Tricia.
you don't have to call me out.
Right.
You are there to remind me where I need to be, where I'm trying to get to. And so it frees up the person on the other end.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing, because y'all know I lead life group at my church, and if I go into the grocery store and there's somebody in there who hasn't been there for a while, they'll hide from me, like
ducking
run
behind the
corners.
bananas.
and then when we eventually get to the checkout counter and they're beside me, they're like, "I promise I'm coming back," and I'm like, I don't care if you come back or not. I mean, I do.
Right.
I love you, and I miss. But it's not about you coming to a meeting. That's not what this is about. This is about doing life together and just caring about each other. And how are you doing?
Authentically.
What's going on? Is there a reason you've not shown up? 9 times out of 10, that is it. There's a reason they've not come back. They're either mad at God, or they're mad at somebody in the group, or they're upset. They can't put the pieces back together. And I'm like, that's why we have this group.
Right.
Yes. Right. It's like Truth Be Told, the song from Matthew West. If we could just be honest, it's the only way to fix it. Yep. Then church would be more like a hospital and not like a museum or trying to be on display. But if we can be honest, honesty over hiding, real over pretty, that's a gift to ourselves, it's a gift to others, and it's a gift to God. Because then we're acknowledging how much we need Him, and then He gets the glory for pulling us out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So you ask, how do we become what we want to become?
Yeah.
That's where it starts, is with truth.
Yeah.
Being truthful with each other, being truthful with ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is hard, because that's where the tendency is to suck the thumb.
Well, that, and I just get in my own head. I don't know if y'all do that too, but I've been asking myself these questions, and so my tendency is to journal about them and think about them and be real, just get in my head and to not share that with anybody. But what I'm realizing too is that there are other people who are struggling or going through the same things, who need to hear, "Hey, I'm Carol and I struggle."
I'm Kelly and I struggle too.
Hi, I'm Tricia. I struggle hard. Struggle bus.
I'm the driver. I'm not giving up the wheel just yet. We were talking about the word of the year on the show, and I said last year I pitched a total fit on God because He gave me the word access, and I didn't want that word because it wasn't sleek and pretty and like, ooh, that's a popular word. Like,
not on the coffee mug. I haven't seen that one on the coffee mug.
Nobody puts it on a T-shirt.
No.
A fun frame to hang on your wall.
Yeah. And yet, think about the word access in the framework of 2020.
Huge.
I know, right?
So profound.
But who is spoiled brat little Carol Davis pitching a fit at the beginning of 2020 because her word was access. And so I need to say those kind of things, but we also need space and permission to do, and that's the biggest thing for me that I've learned throughout my life. I'm going to turn 50 this year, and
that's not that bad.
Nah, I know, I hear. And you make it look great, might I say. But when you start reaching those milestones and you start thinking back, if I've learned one thing, it's that nothing good happens in the dark. So if you just bring this stuff and lay it out and say, here it is, and this is me. We're all on a journey and we all struggle. And so authenticity, accountability, truth, applying truth to those situations. Because I also don't think that it's healthy for us to just say, oh, we're all broken and we're a mess. The end. No, that's not the end. Mm-mm. We have somebody who made us righteous.
Yes.
And who is producing in us things that we can't produce in and of ourselves. Right. And there's not a program or a formula. I don't want you to hear this as a 1, 2, 3. Here are 3 simple steps to become the woman that you would like to be. Because I don't think it works that way. Or at least for me, it hasn't. But I think that when we are authentic and we have that accountability and we realize the hero of the story is Jesus.
Yes.
Amen.
Over and over.
Mm-hmm. And we keep coming back to that place. I mean, he says, come unto me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest.
Mm-hmm.
He's
and
the
bring
one.
your real stuff.
Yeah.
He knows it anyway.
Right.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he is so bossy. I love that
because he knows what to do.
I wrote a whole book about telling us how to do this stuff called life.
I know. And so I don't know that you are as far behind as I was, but it's taken me 50 years to understand that it is okay to be broken because, the righteousness of yourself will get you nowhere. And it's really not righteousness anyway.
The pretend.
Yeah, the pretend. And pretending never helped anybody.
That's the truth.
Right. Yeah.
That's the truth.
So we all have struggles. We all have real lives. And I think this has really been a good discussion and a good place for us to kind of leap into 2021 as we think about where we want to go and who we want to become. We'll put some of these things in the show notes for you so that you can go back and refer to them, including the book Tricia mentioned, the song, and some other things, some scripture that we mentioned in there. But our desire is that Girl Talk this season would help you become more of who God wants you to be. And so if we can help in that, if we can pray for you in that, we would love the opportunity to do that. You can always email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. That email open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're a night owl or early bird, it don't matter. You can email us anytime and we'll get that and we'll respond to you because we would love the opportunity to pray for you. That is what this is all about. I just knew you'd fall in love with Kelly Brandon, and I'm just falling in love with her even more. So welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Appreciate you guys letting me sit around these microphones with you.
It is
and
an
live
honor.
Life together.
It is an honor and a privilege, and we look forward to many more episodes together. But that's going to wrap things up for this episode of the Girl Talk podcast, and we'll see you next time we gather right around these microphones.